Hi, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. Today is Tuesday, February the 28th. This is our chart lesson for today. And it wasn't a lot happened for most of the day. There was a little chance to make some money today. And maybe you caught some of these trades that I'm going to mark, that I've got marked here. Really, your best opportunity were off the lows or the highs. We're pretty much in a trading range today. And really, we spent most of the day in this thing right here. And they're just, I mean, it's like watching paint dry, there's just not much happening. And if you enter anywhere other than the extremes of the highs or lows, you just get trapped in the middle and you watch prices get in your favor for a minute and then out of your favor a minute and then in your favor a minute. And it's demoralizing. It's just hard to trade that stuff. So, your best bet is just to call it a day when you see this, and I pretty much about 1 o'clock I called it a day, and you can see I missed this last setup right here. And then there was some pretty good setups off the low, but by that time I'd had enough for the day, and not sure how the rest of you fared, but if you felt like it was a pretty tough trading day, well, it was, because we really spent the entire day in a basically 66 to 71, so 5-point trading range for the entire day. And really the only thing you can do is buy the lows and sell the highs of this. And there were some other trades in the middle that I circled, but they're risky trades and I don't like them. The best place to enter is at the highs and the lows of the trading ranges. And so anyway, let's talk about the trades we had, and then we're going to call it a day, and it should be a pretty quick chart lesson today. The first entry was really right after the open. The open came right in this area. And if you went short here, that was okay, but it really wasn't a good setup. We were in this trading range. There was probably enough room to scalp out before we got down here. So if you took this trade, it worked out okay, but the better trade was to get long right here. And if you did, this is where you should have made your money today, because any entries right here, your runners were easily safe, and you could have ridden this thing all the way back up here to the highs or so. So you could have made an easy 4 to 5 points off this trade, maybe even 6 points depending on where you exited. But even if you waited for the second entry short to exit right here, you still should have made 4 or 5 points off this. And so this was really the trade of the day. This was a pretty good entry right here if you took this one, but this one was not a great setup. But we had our high here. We made a lower high here with a reversal bar, and when prices broke lower, we were coming right back down here to the other side of the trading range again. And again, we bounced in here. I didn't mark a long entry right in here simply because of the fact that there were so many overlapping bars and a couple of dojis in here, lots of stems. And you can see it took this a minute to work out, but once we had this failed second entry short almost here and reversed, we broke lower right here and trapped people and reversed and went higher. So if you went long right there, that was okay. That's a double bottom at the EMA after we made a bigger double bottom down here and coming off these lows. So the odds were we were probably headed back to these highs, and that's exactly where we went. So if you took that trade, nothing wrong with that trade. It's not my favorite trade, but and again, let me show you something here. If you draw even your short-term trend line, you see that trend line right there, and you can see we got the break here, a couple of legs up to a new high, and then we were pretty much stuck in this congestion area before prices finally tried a second time to go higher here and failed, and then we sold off. And there was a trap right here, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But this was a pretty good setup right here. A failed break higher above this area up here, so your lines were probably like right in here at this point. You can see that's a failed break higher. And there was plenty of room to scalp out before getting back down here to the trend line in this. If you didn't take that one, that's okay, because it wasn't clear yet if we weren't going to go higher. But let me show you this real quick. Here's your first leg up, basically, and then you look over here, your second leg up, and that's exactly where we went to. So, but by that time we did have actually this should have been drawn about like that, and you put it over here, and you can see we didn't quite make that, and that's a good signal that we're probably coming back down again. when you don't make a measured move. But this was definitely a signal here that we weren't probably going to go much higher. I really thought we'd probably come up here and test this high, but we never could make it. And we made before the day's over. We still got enough time left in the day to make it. But if you're not already in a trade long from down in here, I wouldn't risk it. Wouldn't risk it at all. But if you took that trade, it was a good one. But for the rest of the day, and actually you could have gone long here. I wouldn't recommend going long here at all, but this was a first entry as well, and you had to go long above a doji, but this was really the first break of that little trend line, and really by the time we're getting up here, we should be thinking shorts, so it was better not to take any more longs and just wait on the right setup for a short, and that didn't come until this trap right here, and like I said, by this time I'd had enough of this, and I was done for the day and just had called it a day and turned, I was working on something else at the time. But as you can see, we had a little bit of a trend line. Let me just show you. It's just a little basic trend line there. And we broke higher, failed, and we tried to go higher a couple of times. But when we tried to go higher here, this was a second entry long coming off this double bottom. So a lot of people were thinking finally prices were going to go higher, and they just got trapped. And when that thing closed, turned and closed on its low right here, you really should have gone long right below this inside bar because prices broke higher first and trapped everybody and then turned lower. And but if you didn't take this, I understand why. Without that trap, though, it's not a very good trade, and that's what you have to wait on. You just have to sit and be patient until you see one of these nice traps, and that is definitely a nice trap right there. And when it closed on its low right there, you could have actually waited because this is actually kind of a breakout pullback right here and then gone long right there, and then you could have ridden this down. But if you went long right here, that was good. And if you went long or short below this bar or this bar, it was probably okay because you were figuring we would at least make a measured leg that was about the same as this right here. And you see, and that puts prices way down here at this previous low. So and again, this is a strong resistance area, so if you're going to enter, you want to be entering short right in here. But your gut tells you want to be getting long, and you can see every time there was a nice bullish bar, man, they were just tricking people and loading up the longs, and then eventually they turned it, and we raced all the way down here to the other side. And these are all the longs. All these people that were getting long in here are exiting. And they run it all the way down here to the low again where people are looking to buy. And you can see how quickly that bounced. As bearish as that was, it bounced quickly, came down and bounced quickly again. Then they tried it yet again, and it just bounced right out of there. Prices just would not hang around down here at all. And so if you entered long right here, that was a great trade. We had this little trap that broke one tick lower, and then we had a nice little bullish type bar right here. So that was a good place to go long. And if you missed that one, then your next place to go long was right in here. And this is another, you see we got one leg up, pull back, two legs up. And so that was really a second entry short that failed once. And then we tried to go higher again, and then it tried to go lower once again. And this was another trap when we broke below that bar, and then prices turned up. And so if you went long right in here, that was a great trade. But these are all in the middle of this trading range. And those are not always good places to enter. So if you didn't take those because of the overlapping bars, that's okay. But this is really a breakout pullback second entry long. And there's your breakout. Then there's your first entry long, pull back again, and then a second entry long. So that made this okay to go long right here. This is really just a two-legged pullback to the EMA. It's hard to see, but if you went to a different chart, you could easily see it. And you should figure that prices are probably going to, at least coming off this low, are going to try to come back and test this high. But at the very least, we're going to try to test this breakout area right here. And you can see prices have stalled a little bit right in here, testing this and retesting it on both sides. And now we're trying to go higher. And it wouldn't surprise me if we don't come back up here and test these highs right in here again. Really, your bars, your line should be probably right across here, or even maybe right across here now. I kind of like it there because that's where the last closes were. Most of your touches are right across there, and that was actually the support from earlier. So this is kind of trying to swing. It's still acting as resistance now. When we got above it, it was acting as support. Now it's been acting as resistance all day. And so that was really about it for the day. Just not much happening. And when we were stuck in this from maybe 9 o'clock till almost 1 o'clock, it's hard to sit here and watch this stuff. And yeah, you could have entered here and made some money, and you could have entered here. These are both failed breaks out of the trading range. And right here, we failed out the high of this little congestion, then we failed out the low, and then we went back into that congestion, then we failed out the high here, and we really never failed out the low again. It just held. The low kept holding, and we had this trap, and then prices sold off. So if you had a difficult day, don't beat yourself up because it wasn't a great trading day. Really 5 points is all the movement we had, and although we did move from side to side, and that's generally what happens, and so you got to learn to be able to trade that. But I'm going to wrap it up for today. I'm ready to get out of here. It's been a long, boring day and not much happening, so hopefully you made some money today, and if you didn't, hopefully you at least understand what prices we're doing and how you should trade this kind of day. And we'll try it again tomorrow. And this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.